Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. Today I want to talk to you about different steps you can undertake when you want to get out of a rut. And getting into a rut can happen to the best of us. You're feeling like shit and you're having no motivation to do whatsoever. And after a while you notice that the dishes are stacking up and your plants are looking like they've taken their last breaths. And when you look into a mirror, it's not the best version you've seen of yourself. But on top of that, mentally, you feel at a low. It's hard to get out of this bad rhythm that you've been creating for the last couple of weeks or even months. And that's why it's really important when you want to get out of this rut to take it step by step and to start with a very doable step as well. And the beauty of just starting with the first step is something that is called the do something principle. And I read about this principle in the book by Mark Manson, and I think that everybody, or at least some people, know this book. It's a very popular book. And I'm gonna quote him on the definition of the do something principle. The conclusion is that if you lack the motivation to make an important change in life, then do something, anything really, and then harness the reaction to that action as a way to begin motivating yourself. So when we think of all the things that we could or should be doing, we often feel overwhelmed and we don't do anything at all. But, and I'm gonna gift you with another awesome quote, motivation is the effect of action and not the cause of it. We often see it the other way around. So what we do is that we wait until we have enough motivation before we want to undertake any action. But the problem with that is that we have to wait a very long time. We become dependent on our emotional state before we do anything. And our emotional state is, in this case, at the root of the problem. We do have control over our actions, or at least to an extent of it. So let's turn it around. First, we're going to start with doing something, and then in the end, you will notice the motivation will follow. So let's continue with the 7 steps when you want to get out of your rut. So a little heads up, I think that the 7th tip is the most important one. So make sure to watch the video until the end. Okay, so the first step is that you just start with taking a shower. For me, this is always the first step that I start with when I'm feeling down. For some reason, taking a shower feels a little bit like hitting a reset button in a way. And when you feel squeaky clean, for some reason, it's easier to take on any other task. Also, the warmth of the water can help you relax a little bit. And I also like to combine it with just a very nice smelling body wash, for example. And after you get out of the shower, maybe also some body lotion for that extra feeling of comfort and taking care of yourself. And then the next one, the 2nd step, is wash your sheets. Once you feel squeaky clean, it's very simple to take off your sheets and put them in the washing machine. Also add some detergent that smells really nice. But the catch with this is taking off the sheets is quite easy, but I also know that putting on the new ones is sometimes I don't know, you just don't feel like doing it. So the catch is doing this immediately. And in the evening, you're gonna be really content with yourself when you step into your freshly washed sheets. And it's just gonna add a little bit to feeling a tiny bit better. So the 3rd step is that you just have to move your body a little bit. And the best thing or the easiest thing is just to go for a walk around the block. And also here, take it simple. So don't immediately pressure yourself that you have to go to the gym or that you have to run 10 kilometers, for example. But just start with something doable that you think you can do. And what happens is when we move our body is that our body produces this chemical that we call endorphins. And endorphins are also called the feel-good chemical. And I think you might have heard of them. So these little buddies, I call them, just make us feel better by moving our bodies. So this is a very, I think, easy doable step after you've taken the first 2 steps, by just walking around your neighborhood a little bit. And maybe it's a good idea to combine this with a certain goal. So what I do is that I make my own goal, for example, getting a coffee. And step 4 is talking about the fact that you're feeling in a rut. So getting together with someone, and someone you trust, is important in this case. You can also call or FaceTime, for example, but I think meeting in person is a little bit better. And I notice myself that just talking about the fact that I'm feeling in a rut can make me feel a bit more relieved. And a lot of the times people will recognize the things you talk about. So it will make you feel a little bit less alone in the feelings that you're having. Or when you don't really feel like talking about the fact that you're feeling in a rut, you can also do the opposite and talk about the things that you want to do, or the things that you're passionate about, or the things you want to focus on again. So sharing your goals can make you feel like a little bit more excited again to start pursuing them. And if you find it really difficult to talk about the fact that you're feeling not your best, you can also start maybe with writing it down. I heard about a lot of people who find this really helpful to kind of like get you out of your mind and getting it onto the paper. So that's also a tip that you can use. So step 5 is starting with tidying up one part of your bedroom, or for example your living room. And also with these chores, to do something principle applies. So you probably notice that when you start tidying up one part of your apartment, then after that you will start doing some more. But that's not the goal. The goal is just to do something, to start with something, and to get a little bit more of overview, or like feeling a bit more organized. So for example, clean the kitchen counter, or make your bed, or put your clothes into the laundry basket, or maybe organize your desk. Just pick something and start with that. So step 6 is that you should start by making a little bit of a morning routine. At least that's the easiest thing to start with, I think. So the best thing is to wake up every morning at around the same time. So that means setting your alarm. And with that, it's a good idea to also apply a little bit more to that routine, or adding to that routine, in, for example, making your bed in the morning, taking a shower, and having some breakfast. Also, something that I like to do is that I plan a lot of my activities in the morning, so that I have a reason to get out of bed in the morning when I don't have to work, for example. And then I also have a reason to get myself ready in the morning for that appointment. What I also sometimes do is that I make a little to-do list the night before I go to bed, what I want to do the next day. So then the next day when I get out of bed, I have a sense of purpose of all the things that I am going to do that day. But if you feel that that's too much for now, then leave out the to-do list, but just start with getting out of bed every day at a certain time. So making a little bit of a new routine for yourself. Okay, and then we're on to the last tip already, and I think that's the most valuable tip that I think for myself it's a really valuable one. It's also something that I read in the book by Mark Manson. Here we have it again. And the essence of it is don't pressure yourself into feeling better. Because otherwise the annoying thing that starts to happen is when you feel bad, you start feeling bad about the fact that you're feeling bad. Or when you, for example, feel guilty about something, you feel guilty about the fact that you're feeling guilty. Like you think about, oh, I shouldn't feel guilty. That's a negative emotion. And by thinking it's a negative emotion, you add on to it. So he describes it as the feedback loop from hell. And that's one of the things that I still remember from reading his book that really has stuck with me. I'm gonna quote him again because he says it so perfectly, I think, in his book. And he says, the desire for more positive experience in itself is a negative experience. And paradoxically, the acceptance of negative emotions is in itself a positive experience. So I think that really kind of beautifully sums it up what it means by accepting the feelings that we have. A lot of times we feel the pressure to feel like really happy and to have our shit together, and when we feel, for example, lonely or down or not ourselves, what we do then a lot of the times is that we think that these emotions are bad and these emotions need to go. But sometimes these emotions are just there to be felt and they're sending a message, and we have to take the message seriously, but don't feel the need to like pressure yourself into, okay, I need to be like really happy and I can't feel bad. So the tips that I just gave in this video is like getting out of your rut, but it's not really you have to be happy now. Like feeling happy is not something that's constant. That's feeling happy is something that happens at certain moments and you feel like really happy, and then that emotion like fades away again and you feel neutral again, and neutral is good. So by all means, don't take this video as some kind of, okay, now I have to feel better, but these are just some things that you can apply to feeling a little bit more, yeah, like yourself again. I think that's the purpose. And also remember that these negative emotions are a part of life and they are very normal and they will fade as well. So it's just all part of being human. We're all human after all. So these are the 7 tips that I wanted to share with you guys. These are tips that I apply into my own life as well. And I think the most important thing is just take it step by step. Don't pressure yourself. It's all gonna be okay. It's all part of life. We're all learning and we're all improving. And dealing with these emotions, and especially negative emotions, is just one part of it. I really do think that without the negative emotions, the positive emotions wouldn't stand out as much. So yeah, I think it's important to have a balance. Yeah, and with that, I'm gonna shut up with talking about this, and I hope I will see you next time. Bye.